Alrighty, so we're going to start breaking down some gameplay. Now, this video, or this match, is only about 10 minutes long, but I'm going to be pausing and stopping over and over to explain what I'm doing here. Alright, so I want to give you some background first on this match. It wasn't really important or anything, but there's a player on the enemy team named El Morocco, and I played him the match before this one, and all he was doing was camping in a corner with a Jack 12, a Riot Shield, double proximity mines, and tactical inserts. So he was on the enemy team on this match too. So that's right there from the very beginning. That's something you can do to get better is, recognize the players you play. If you're playing somebody really annoying or like campy or whatever, remember their names so that you can plan ahead and anticipate what kind of match you're going to be, playing. So in this match, so you'll notice in this match, I'm actually running around with a pistol and a riot shield at first. That's because I'm using the engineer perk. Now I know in the perk episodes I was talking about how engineer is like niche and whatnot, but that's why I'm running it. Typically I don't run it, but since I knew I was going against a guy that wants to camp behind claymores and betties and has tactical insertion, and the thing is I also mentioned in one of those episodes that you should never camp around your proximity mines and stuff because you basically are telling the enemy where you're at, and that's all this guy was doing. He was really dumb. Like he would just put his mines down and then just lay down somewhere and just sit by them. So I'm like, okay, well this guy's going to be easy kills because I can just run engineer and find out exactly where he is. So that's what I was doing in the beginning there. I end up switching later because the rest of the enemy team was campy. Like they were all like this whole team was terrible. It was just a whole team of campers. So I was like, okay, well I'm not going to be able to just like focus on this one proximity mine camper, which is El Morocco. I'll have to take care of them too, because I just kind of assumed that the rest of the team would be terrible, but they were annoying enough to where I was like, okay, it's not worth it. Because like I wanted to just focus on El Morocco and just like troll him and assassinate him and stuff like that, but like the rest of the team wasn't letting me do that, so I just ended up switching to my main class and switching my amped to engineer, which you'll see later. So with that background out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so you'll see what I do here in the very beginning of the match is I pull up the scoreboard. There's a lot of useful information that the scoreboard can give you. So the main one I'm looking at right here is that you see the skulls next to enemy players' names and my friendly players. So what the skull means is that they're not currently spawned in. So typically what that would mean is that they're dead and that they're, in regular modes they'd be watching the kill cam, or they're just waiting for the spawn animation to be over with so they can continue playing. But in the very beginning of the match, that typically means is that they haven't loaded into the game yet. Like they're in the game, but the game hasn't finished loading for them, so they're not spawned in yet. So really, that's the big takeaway is that they're not spawned in yet. A lot of times, I don't know why. Like I have a really good internet connection. What end up happening is that like for the first 30 seconds of a match, sometimes like I'll be the only one spawned in, and then everybody's still loading in. So I'll literally just be running around the map, trying to find people. But it's useful to know that so you don't just end up wasting your time. Like, I mean, what you could do in that time while they're still spawning is you could set yourself up, get into a good spot, or put some mines down or something like that. But what I'm trying to gauge here at first is, first of all, how many enemies am I going to go up against? Because maybe the lobby only started with 5 enemies and 5 friendlies. So I'm just trying to figure out who's spawned in and how many they're going to be. And also, like I said before, I'm also double checking who is on the enemy team. I see that El Morocco's on the enemy team because the game doesn't really tell you like who's going to be on your team and who's not when you're in the lobby. Like it kind of does, like the pre-game lobby. But I'm just trying to read the names and figure out, okay, who am I going? I'm trying to have their names in my head so that when I kill them and look at the kill feed, I'll know who I'm looking for. So that's we can talk about that in a little bit. Alright, you can see right there that I use a stim shot, even though I'm not injured. So you'll see me do that basically all the time in all my gameplays. I told you in the tactical equipment episode that stim shots refill your tactical sprint. So all I'm trying to do right there is I'm just trying to get the tactical refresh. So what I was trying to explain in the other episode was that, okay, when you're tactical sprinting, what you want to do if you're running stim shots is you want to tactical sprint, then you want to stim back up so you get all your tactical sprint back, and then you tactical sprint again, and then you can stim shot again, and then you can tactical sprint again, and then you can just get around the map super quickly. And again, I have restock, so I'll get all those stim shots back every 15 seconds. Well, one every 15 seconds. So all I was just trying to do there is just move around the map faster. Obviously, it's low risk because we just spawned in the game, so I can get across the entire like this will throw a lot of people off because the game just started and you'll already be like almost into their spawn because you can move so quickly. So it gives you it's kind of like a good head start basically. I mean, I'll be tactical sprinting and using my stims all the time, like all the time. But that's the whole reason I did it there. So my main goal in the beginning of the match here was just to get across the map as quickly as possible because I knew that El Morocco was going to post up probably in the taxi building because it's a really easy building to camp. So you can see right here, I can't remember if I just didn't see this guy or I thought I could just basically avoid him and ignore him. I think maybe I can't remember exactly, but I thought he was looking out that side window and not right at me, but he ended up looking right at me. So I ended up getting killed here. Again, this is why you don't want tunnel vision because what I should have done is just stayed where I was and taken that guy out. It was a pretty easy shot. So you can see that my theory or hypothesis or whatever was right. You can see the two Bettys right there. There's one by the front door and there's one up on the door above the stairs. So I knew, okay, this is probably going to be the building that he camps in. And you also have to consider that this was his side of the map that he spawned on. So typically what campers are going to do is that they're going to basically be like, okay, well, if I spawn on this side of the map, I'll go to this building. Or if I spawn on this map, I'll go to this building. So if he spawned on my side of the map, maybe he would have camped in the parking lot building that has the two stories. Or maybe he would go in that, like, gas station that's in the very corner of the map, but that's a pretty terrible place to camp, to be honest. But so we know this is probably where he's going to be. And here's the other thing too. I know that he's not intelligent enough. I mean, I already knew he was a pretty stupid player, but like you can see that he's unintelligent enough to not double stack his Bettys. So not only is he a camper, he's a bad camper because we talked about that in the lethal equipment and perks episode. So I know that anytime that I want to engage him, I'm not going to have to worry about the proximity lines killing me. So you'll see later that I actually just run past them and just stim up and heal myself immediately. So again, I talked about this in the tacticals episode. Like this will throw campers off because they think, oh my Bettys are just going to get me kills for me. So that ends up not working. But again, I end up dying here because I thought I could just avoid the guy that was shooting me. And again, I cannot remember. I think what I thought was that he was either on the ground floor or that he couldn't get an angle on me from where I was at and where he was at. So I just was like, oh well, I'm just going to ignore him and just try to hack these Bettys. But obviously that didn't work out for me. All right, so you see here that I start changing my class. This is when I just pull out my regular AK class, and I'm switching my perk from Amped to Engineer because again, this is where I figured out, okay, it's going to be one of those matches I'm not going to be able to, mess around. So that's why I'm switching my class here. All right, so something kind of weird you see me do right here is what I do is I slide cancel twice in a row. So this is not too much of an important point, but if you want to be extremely aggressive, I mean, it's a skill you might want to learn, but when you're first starting off, it's not that important. So basically, all I'm doing here is that you kind of keep your momentum when you slide cancel. So what slide canceling is, how to perform it first off is again, when we were talking about how to set up our controls in the first episode, I have my slide to tap. I tap circle to slide instead of having to hold it, because if you hold it, you're not going to be able to perform this. So what I'm doing is I'm sprinting, then I'm sliding, and then I sprint. You have to time it. You have to sprint again, and then you have to slide again. It's a pattern you can just teach yourself, and then once you get a feel for it, you'll be able to do it no problem for the most part. So what it does is it kind of lets you be a little more like dodgy. I mean, I'm not really doing it to like evade bullets or anything, but what it does is that if you do two slide cancels within the time that your character basically stops sprinting, you'll recharge some of your tactical sprint. Not all of it, but you'll recharge a good portion of it. Basically, it's just a good way to keep your momentum and to keep tactical sprinting and moving around really quickly. It's not that important. I really only do it if I'm trying to be like extra sweaty, because it's really not like that useful. Or maybe I just do it because I'm bored or something. I don't know. But that's what that is, and that's why I'm doing it. All right, so something that's happening here is that I hear gunfire to my right. So I don't know if that's a teammate or if it's an enemy, but what it's telling me is that there's someone shooting something over there. You know, because the way the person was firing, it wasn't like, you know, weird or sporadic. It was like, okay, someone's trying to kill something over there. So what that tells me is that there's either a friendly there shooting, you know, far away from him, or there's an enemy over there shooting my guys. So it's not important to me for what's coming up because, you know, it's not somebody I engage with there, but it's just, I'm just thinking ahead. I'm like, okay, well, that's where the enemies are probably going to be, so I'll continue in that direction. So the other thing you'll notice here is that the blue tag up on the building is getting confirmed by an enemy. So you know it's an enemy confirming the tag for multiple reasons. So you can tell, you know, there's no blue friendly dot. You know, your friendlies have blue dots above their head on the screen, so you can tell that they're there. So first of all, it's like, okay, well, I didn't see a blue dot over there. The mini map, you know, if the mini map was up, you'd be able to tell if they were there or not. But also, it's the noise is what's important. So obviously, when you take a red tag, like for you, when you take a red tag, it makes a certain noise. And then when you take a blue tag, it makes a different noise. So the same applies to an enemy. If an enemy takes a blue tag, it'll make the good noise for them. But then if the enemy takes a blue tag of theirs, which is a red tag to you, it'll make a certain noise. So that's a good way to tell. I mean, you know, it sounds silly, but that's a good way to tell where enemies or friendlies are. Because, you know, maybe sometimes you're not able to look in the direction to tell if there's a blue dot where a friendly is. So being able just to hear is a good thing. So that's how, you know, that was multiple factors there that let me know that there's an enemy upstairs. So then I begin to pursue him. So you'll probably not be able to hear it because I edited the game volume down so you could hear me talking, but you can actually hear that the guy upstairs slid into the room. And the other thing that you can hear is that he's crouch walking. So it's kind of hard to tell. Obviously, you can't hear people crouch walking like from very far away, and it's very faint. It's very quiet. So the difference that you're looking for basically is that if somebody is like running or sprinting, it'll sound like doo, 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 like that. There's a lot of bass to it. And then if they're crouch walking, it's more like it's more pitter patter of their footsteps. So what I'm listening for here is I can hear him crouch walking because the footsteps aren't as loud. So I'm like, okay, so like what that tells me is that, okay, this guy's being cautious. Maybe he saw me when he was upstairs, or, you know, he's anticipating somebody coming through the door. So I'm like, okay, well, if I stop hearing the crouch walking noises, then I'm like, okay, so that means he's like, you know, there's a couch up there, so maybe he's hiding behind the couch, and I'll need to jump in the room and get the jump on him. But then what ends up happening is that I keep hearing his footsteps getting closer and closer to me while approaching the door. So I'm like, okay, so I need to get, you know, prepared. There's going to be a gunfight here, so I need to proceed quietly. That's why I'm aim walking here, and this is, again, going back to the attachments episode, this is one of the big usefulnesses of running no stock and stuff like that, because now I can aim walk quietly up these stairs to match his like noise volume so he doesn't hear me. So, and it also allows me to hear him to see where exactly he is. So I end up hearing his footsteps go right in front of me, and you'll see here. And you can see that I shoot his corpse for a little bit. That was nothing. I was just asserting dominance. Alright, so since I already know that El Morocco dude is camping in that building, I was already checking the windows there, and I got a hit on him. So you can see that's why it's good to carry around an RPG with amps, because since I can't get a clear shot on him, but I did hit him, and I know he's up there, I can angle this RPG into the room, and I get a perfect shot through the window and then into the door in that other room where he ran into. And then you'll see here that I just run into the proximity mine on purpose. Now, I timed the stim shot a little bad. I should have waited like a half a second more, because then what I was trying to do was just take the hit and then time it to where when the stim shot actually takes effect, I'll immediately have full health. But it wasn't a big deal. I just timed it wrong. So the other thing you'll have to keep in mind is that when somebody dies and they still have equipment on the field, it takes a little while for this stuff to actually disappear. So you can see that proximity mine that's still up there, it disappears after a couple seconds. So the time it takes to have it despawn is basically
when they die, and then the moment they respawn, they're like actually on the field. That's when the equipment disappears. So sometimes that can get you killed if you're not careful or whatever. So just be cautious. So right here I have a pretty good advantage. So I kill the one guy, and I know since once you play the game enough, you'll know where the spawns are. You'll know how the map flows, that kind of thing. So I already know that in this circumstance, the enemies are going to be spawning in that little lot on the other side of that building there. So my eyes are already kind of paying attention to that side of the map or like that alley over there. So that's why I can see this guy. I see him just out of the corner of my eye, but that's how I already know he's there. You can see him right there coming around. And this next guy coming up on my right, I just hear his footsteps, so I take care of him. And then here I get unlucky because I was hip firing because I was calling in the UAV. I just honestly didn't expect anybody to be over there. And here, I don't know, I don't remember why I switched to thermites. I think that my mindset was that proximity mines weren't going to be useful to me because I wasn't able to the enemies were camping too much, so it's not like they were going to be running over them anyway. So I think that's why I switched to it. I'm not really sure. Alright, so they throw a smoke grenade here, which is a pretty good indicator that they're going to push forward. Here I get really unlucky. I was going to shoot an RPG into the smoke to clear him out, but that guy just decided to go there, so got unlucky. So I can push forward pretty confidently here because I saw the enemies going to the right of their spawn back there because they weren't going in the alley that I was in necessarily. So that's why I was looking over in the construction, and I kind of knew or had an idea that someone might be there, and that's why I killed that sniper. And so since that guy killed me in the taxi building, I'm pushing up here cautiously. I'm waiting for him, trying to find him, and so there he is. And here I get killed by some loser just sitting in a corner there for no reason, so I don't know why he was there. So you'll see that I jump around the corner here, and I see a guy running upstairs in that building. That guy there that I killed wasn't the guy that was in the building. He actually, I guess, backed out and went down here into this little room. And so I don't want to push into the room with the claymore because he's like looking in that direction, so I just back out and shoot the RPG to kill him. And with these other kills, this is just where getting good at the game and reacting is, obviously you're going to need to be able to just get good at the game because I got all those guys just by straight up reaction, a little bit of footsteps. And the reason I shot an RPG there was because I saw the claymore, so I was like, okay, so somebody's trying to camp over there, so I'm just going to shoot an RPG there to disrupt them or kill somebody, and I just get really lucky. And that proximity mine that the guy put down got destroyed because somebody threw a thermite there, and it exploded by itself because the thermite, I don't know why he threw it over there. And then right here, I can see this guy because of the personal radar, so I just jump him. I really flubbed that shot. I'm surprised he didn't kill me. But then they immediately shoot down my personal radar. But I still think there's somebody back here because of the proximity mine. I think it's El Morocco, but it looks like he pushed up there, and I killed him right there. I think that was actually like the first or second time I killed him. I start killing him a bunch here, and he ends up rage quitting. So again, right here, I see the blue tag get confirmed by an enemy, and that's why I shot the RPG up there, and I get lucky again and get a kill. And you can see, remember when I was talking about gas grenades being like smoke grenades? Dude, I can't see anything through that gas. Gases are just really annoying. So at first, at this part, I thought the guy shooting the EBR was my friendly, because I saw a blue dot over there. But if you look at the kill feed, you can see that the person using the EBR is actually that Camila whatever person that just killed my friendly. So this is why learning the gun sounds, what they sound like, that kind of thing. I mean, I know this is all a lot, but what I'm showing you and explaining and all this is 15 years of Call of Duty experience that I'm trying to explain to you guys. So I know it's a lot, but so once I realized what's going on, I actually focused my attention to that guy instead of the guy over by the construction. Alright, so we're approaching the building over here. Now, I see the proximity mine through the wall right there. And so now I know, okay, this is where El Morocco is going to be camping. So that's how I didn't know he was laying there. I just aimed my gun at the doorway because that's where he would most likely have been. And here I'm talking shit because You know, we'll talk about shit talking here at the end, but yeah, so that's how I knew he was there. And then I got some shots off at the guy over there, and then so I tried to finish him off with an RPG, but that's why EOD will save you, because he took a shot and EOD saved him from a rocket. Now that guy was actually the guy that shot me. He was right below my iron sights. It was El Morocco again, and that's why I couldn't see him. And I killed him again, so I was talking more shit. So, but yeah, that's why we were talking about like the monocle sight in the other episode. It would like I would have probably been able to see him if I had a monocle sight because the iron sights were blocking him. But that's such a small problem to worry about. And I get cut. That guy in the building, he went through the door right as I was going out the window, and that's why I got too flustered and I was trying to kill too many people, so that's why I died there. And so again, I see the Betty in there, and then I try to kill him with an RPG, but then I duck away too quickly, and the rocket accidentally hit the corner of that brick, so I killed myself. But you know, that's better than him killing me. So then I go and try to do the same thing again over here. And here's the importance of maintaining like your knowledge of the kill feed. So I got a hit on somebody, but it wasn't Morocco. Morocco was actually killed by his friendly. If you look at the kill feed, his friendly for whatever reason killed him. But I saw that on the kill feed, so that's why I kept pushing forward. So the kill feed is one of your biggest friends. Like you need to constantly be paying attention, putting the pieces together. It's a lot of micromanaging, and you're not going to be able to do it when you first start. And really, for the most part, you shouldn't even worry about it when you're first like learning and getting good at the game. You should get good at the game first, and then all this advanced stuff is, you know, that's when you should really start paying attention to that. But it's a huge asset. I know it doesn't really make sense, but once you start understanding the game, it's a ginormous asset. So this is kind of minor, but the reason I kind of stay behind this tree here when my teammate's in front of me is if my teammate was shooting at somebody, so I don't want to push forward and then have whoever he was shooting at start shooting at him and then the bullets penetrate and kill me. So that's why it gets me killed a lot whenever I try to push and teammates are in front of me. So I usually try to hang back and like if they get killed, I'll clean up the person that, you know, killed them, or you know, it's a little thing, but that's why I kind of stayed back there for a second. And here, like I was talking about in the other episodes, I took a little bit of falling damage there. So, and I mean, also I'm trying to get around the map quickly too, so that's why I stemmed there. So I healed the little bit of fall damage, and I can continue to move quickly. And so I called in the personal radar there, and then immediately I saw the guy upstairs. So that's why I shot the RPG there. And so here, there's two guys back behind here. I killed this first guy because I see him on the map. But the reason I knew that guy went up there without the ping from the radar was because I heard metal footstep sounds, and the only thing that can make metal footstep sounds is the van. So I was like, oh, okay, so that guy's climbing on the van to jump through the window. So that's how I got an advantage of, like, you know, knowing where he was right at that moment. And these guys just suck. I don't know how I didn't die there. And you'll see here, this is what I was talking about, just picking up enemies' guns. I get really lucky and pick up an enemy AK, so I got some ammo for my AK, and now I have a second gun in my inventory. So, you know, like I said, if you run out of RPG rounds, you know, pick up the first weapon you can see. So yeah, really with this last one, I shouldn't have even wasted the time, but we were about to win the game, so I didn't really care. I just wasted a lot of ammo there for no reason. And yeah, I pulled out my original AK because I was trying to reload it, but I ended up actually using all the ammo, so I couldn't reload my gun, so that's why I'm using this one here. And yeah, with that guy, I mean, you could clearly see, like, I saw him, so I knew he was going to run around that alley, so that's why I kind of waited for the footsteps to line up in front of the door, and, you know, it was safer to kill him that way instead of running out in front of him. And so yeah, I ended up getting a Juggernaut right at the end, but it doesn't really matter because we already won the game. All right, and lastly, I want to talk about shit talking. Now, it's kind of a weird thing to talk about in a video about making, yourself better at Call of Duty, but, and I'm bragging, once you get as good as I am, shit talking is the most fun thing, okay? Everybody needs to shit talk, but only if you're the winner. If you're the loser, shut the fuck up. You're a little bitch. Just hold your L. No, but if you can walk the walk, you should talk the talk because this is a game. You can do whatever you want. It's online. There's no repercussions. I mean, don't say anything stupid. You just look like a dumbass. But get your shit talk. Okay, like I'm getting to a lot of life lessons here. Okay, you should practice your shit talking on the game so you can be more confident in real life. Like, I know that's a stupid thing to say about Call of Duty, but look, this is a video game. It's not that serious. Talk some shit, have some fun, you know. I mean, if you want to drop some hard R's, that's on you. I don't do that personally because I think that's dumb. But come up with some creative shit. Make people feel like garbage, because then they'll want to make other people feel like garbage, and then you get some good shit talking battles. It's real fun. If you and here's the thing, if you get offended by shit talk, you're a little pussy. You shouldn't be playing Call of Duty. Just straight up, like everybody needs to talk shit. Everybody needs to talk shit. It's fun. Okay, and if you can't take the heat, get the fuck out of the kitchen. All right, I talk shit all the fucking time. When you're as good as I am, that's where the most fun comes from. Is shitting on campers like El Morocco, making them rage quit, and then telling all the other little pussies on the team that were camping with them, you just talk some shit. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents about it. Because I talk shit in all my clips basically. So don't be afraid to talk shit. Now if you're like 2-13 with like 1 confirmed, just shut the fuck up. Your mic shouldn't even turn on. You're garbage at the game. Watch my videos and then you can talk some shit. So yeah, anyway.
And I mean, I was really tame here. I didn't even talk very much shit. Honestly, I was just so like over all the camping I was putting up with. So yeah, I didn't even have the energy to talk some real shit.
Y'all are fucking trash.
Yeah, you're hacking.
Oh yeah, and keep watching my videos because we're going to talk about actual hackers. Don't be this fucking retard that doesn't know what he's talking about.
Just because you're dog shit at the game doesn't mean people that are better than you are hackers, okay? You're just making it easier for real hackers to get away with actually hacking. So yeah, this playing for fun fucking retard, yeah, don't be that guy. Just don't. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
But in later episodes, like I have tons and tons and tons of clips and matches of us playing hackers and beating hackers. Okay, like we're actually going to talk about how to identify real hackers, like straight up. So that'll be something to look forward to. But yeah, that's basically the end of this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
Y'all are fucking trash.